Hey TikTok. So somebody the other day was asking what is the big deal with bloggers and forums and gossip sites. Well, since I was stalked from a gossip site known as Lipstick Alley, one of the foremost gossip sites, or it was a couple of years ago, I will explain to you why they're popular. So, back in the day, if you've been on the internet forever like me, you knew something called a zine or an e-zine, which is an electronic magazine. I grew up reading magazines, okay, like Cosmopolitan, Teen Beat, Tiger Beat, all these little teeny bop magazines. And in those magazines, it was specifically, generally, for the demographic of young women. And it had stuff about makeup, hair, celebrities. It had stories, embarrassing stories. It had things about hygiene, it had things about sex. So naturally, you transition to finding that on your own once the internet becomes prominent, right? So you go to something that was known back then as an zine, as an electronic magazine or an electronic newsletter, and that's where you get forums from. So Lipstick Alley was known sort of as a groupie site originally, like groupies and wags would go there, soccer wives, athlete wives would go there, or people who wanted to be in the industry, and they would get information. A lot of the popular internet slang that's used actually came from that site. It was a feeder site, so there are a lot of movers and shakers that are from the entertainment and music industry that lurk there or have accounts there. It's kind of an inside joke on the forum, not so inside because outside industry people also know and recognize back then that the forum was used for real industry tea, as they say. So it became big because of that, but that's not why I was there. I originally joined because it was a Black woman centered site. And when I first came on there in like 2008, there was just streams and streams of really, really funny, interesting women. And I was drawn to that. So I signed up and I never left. And that was my little spot for escapism. I was surrounded by Black women, or, obviously people can misrepresent on the internet, but I was surrounded by what I thought was Black women. And in my everyday life, I am not. I am a transracial adoptee, so my parents are white, and I am surrounded by white people, or a multicultural society. I'm in Canada, so it is multicultural. But I grew up with people other than Black people. And that was a nice way for me to escape and be around my affinity network, Black women. And it was a fun way to stay up on the industry as well, since I actually went to school for advertising, and communications is my little side project or passion project. So I go there because I am peripheral to the industry. I keep up with it because that is something that interests me business wise. I like the business of entertainment and music. I like the business of design. I like the business of art. So I am there around those who are in the business peripherally. And that's also kind of the reason why I think I was put on these people's radar when they started to stalk me and steal my commentary and ideas and thoughts. So if you want to know why people are on that gossip site specifically, it's because it was a Black woman centered site. And that site, just like the Cosmopolitan or the other little teeny bop magazines that I read as a young woman and girl, it centers around things that are interesting to women: makeup, fashion, lifestyle, travel, gossip. It's changed since social media has been put on the map, and now there are a few little pockets that obsess over social media influencers and their lives. And I think that's really when the transgression or trespassing into people's intimate lives started. So on TikTok, Facebook, and other places, you have people that multiple perpetrators stalk people that they've targeted and turned into little celebrities, like, a little community celebrity that they discuss indirectly here. And they use the themes of good and evil, selling your soul, blah, blah, blah. You've seen them all. They're always talking about your enemy, all this bullshit, right? So they stalk people and they turn those people into little virtual celebrities for their circuit. So what you have to remember when you're discussing why people are interested in celebrities and gossip is that they're a part of a media circuit. So this goes into the conversation of what is public and what is private. And a lot of these people online that make these monologues, they are discussing people that live private lives. Whereas on gossip boards, they're discussing people that have public lives and rely on the conversation, whether it's good public relations or bad public relations, to stay relevant. Private people do not need you discussing them to stay relevant. There's the big difference between the conversation of public and private and why people like to discuss celebrities. It's because they want to be discussed. They need to be discussed. It's how they make their money. It's how they stay relevant. It's also what feeds the algorithm. So you can see the Chosen, Twin Flame Universe, and the other people that are tangentially related to the music and entertainment industry. They've created their own algorithm and their own little media circuit. So when they discuss these people indirectly and make them celebrities, that feeds their little algorithm. Same as the forums. Lipstick Alley is constantly crawled. So the information is always getting indexed, which means that these people are being popularized based on conversation, okay? It increases their bank account, basically, if they're talked about. They want to be talked about. They may not like that it's negative sometimes, but they put out those prompts via headlines and articles, and it becomes a part of the conversation circuit. Just like you have here, the Chosen, Twin Flame Universe discussing private citizens and creating their own algorithm and media circuit. So, why do people like forums? Why do people like gossip boards? I'm telling you from my perspective, I like them because I got an opportunity to interact with other Black women, and it's also it serves my interests as a woman. I'm into makeup, I'm into fashion, I'm into media, I'm into travel, I'm into technology and business, and it's all there. So it represents what was known as an e-zine, an electronic magazine back in the day. Okay? Now, I'd like to know why you, in your conversational circuit, are stalking private citizens to have something to talk about and to make yourself a little hood celebrity. Answer that one.